The salt-laced wind whipped around Emma, tugging at her scarf as she stared at it. Harrow House. Even from the overgrown driveway, the decay was palpable. Paint peeled like sunburnt skin, revealing the bare, rotting wood beneath. The windows were dark, vacant eyes staring out from a skull. It stood on the outskirts of Oakhaven like a skeletal finger pointing towards oblivion, a silent testament to a family's tragic fall. Oakhaven whispered tales of Harrow House. Locals claimed it was cursed, haunted by the spirits of the Harrow family, driven to madness and death by their own hubris. Whispers of occult experiments and demonic pacts clung to the air like the musty smell emanating from the decaying structure. It was those whispers that had drawn Emma here. A young, ambitious historian, Emma had arrived in Oakhaven seeking a fresh start. She was drawn to the unsolved mysteries, the dusty corners of history that other academics ignored. Harrow House, with its dark history and ominous reputation, was irresistible. She devoured every scrap of information she could find, faded newspaper clippings recounting strange disappearances, local legends of shadowy figures lurking in the windows, and whispered warnings about the house's power. Most dismissed it as folklore, but Emma felt a pull, a morbid curiosity that resonated deep within her. She needed to see for herself. Now, standing before the dilapidated mansion, she felt a thrill course through her. This wasn't just about bolstering her career. It was about confronting the unknown, about testing the boundaries of reality. Emma was going to spend the night in Harrow House. As she pried open the creaking front door, a gust of stale air rushed out, carrying the scent of dust, mildew, and something else, something indefinably ancient and unsettling. The interior was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the sliver of moon hanging high above. Cobwebs draped like macabre tapestries, and dust motes danced in the faint light, creating an ethereal, almost ghostly atmosphere. Emma swallowed, her heart pounding in her chest. "Emma? Hello?" The only response was the sigh of the wind through broken window panes. As she moved deeper into the house, she began to hear them, whispers, faint, indistinct murmurs that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves. Trying to remain rational, she muttered to herself, "Just the wind." Footsteps echoed on the floorboards above, even though she was alone. Doors creaked open and shut, seemingly of their own volition. The unsettling paintings that adorned the walls didn't help. Portraits of stern-faced men and women, their eyes following her as she passed. In several, the faces had been violently scratched out, leaving only blank, distorted canvases. It was as though someone had tried to erase their existence. The deeper she went, the more intense the sensations became. The air grew colder, heavier. She felt a constant prickling feeling on the back of her neck, as if she were being watched. Emma found a study, its shelves overflowing with brittle books and decaying diaries. She settled in, her fingers tracing the faded handwriting in the oldest diary. It belonged to Elias Harrow, the family patriarch, and detailed his fascination with the occult. The diary spoke of summoning spirits, of making deals with otherworldly entities to bring prosperity to the family. It spoke of power, of knowledge beyond mortal comprehension. But as Emma read on, the tone shifted. Elias described disturbing visions, terrifying rituals, and a growing sense of dread. His experiments, it seemed, had taken a sinister turn. Other diaries confirmed the downward spiral. Paranoia, madness, and violence consumed the Harrow family. They began to turn on each other, their relationships fractured by mistrust and fear. The diaries ended abruptly, leaving a chilling silence in their wake. According to local legend, the Harrows had awakened something dark, something that couldn't be controlled. The house was forever tainted, a vessel for the spirits they had summoned, spirits now trapped and desperate to escape. As the night deepened, Emma's psychological state deteriorated. She started seeing fleeting glimpses of figures in the periphery of her vision. She heard her own voice whispering back to her when she was alone, repeating phrases she hadn't uttered. An overwhelming sense of dread pressed down on her, suffocating her. Was the house playing tricks on her? Was she losing her mind? Or was something truly sinister happening? The phenomena escalated. The house seemed to groan and shift, as if it were a living, breathing entity. Objects moved on their own. A book would fall from a shelf, a chair would scoot across the floor. In the darkness at the ends of the hallway, she glimpsed shadowy figures, their eyes glowing with an unholy light. Then came the basement. The door had been sealed shut, hidden behind a tapestry of cobwebs and decaying velvet. Curiosity compelled her to break the seal. The air that rushed out was frigid, thick with the smell of decay and something metallic like blood. Descending the creaking wooden stairs, she found herself in a vast, circular room. In the center, an ancient ritual circle was etched into the stone floor, surrounded by odd, decaying artifacts, blackened bones, tarnished silver implements, and strange, unidentifiable objects that pulsed with an unnerving energy. As she stepped closer, a gust of icy wind slammed into her, extinguishing her lantern and plunging her into absolute darkness. A scream caught in her throat. When the lights flickered back to life, she saw it. A figure standing in the corner, shrouded in shadows. A tall, gaunt form, its face half covered by a tattered hood. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural, malevolent light. Emma froze, paralyzed by fear. The figure remained motionless for a heartbeat, then vanished into the shadows. Emma scrambled back, her heart hammering against her ribs. She fled the basement, the image of the hooded figure seared into her memory. The house was alive, she realized, not just with the spirits of the Harrow family, but with something far darker, something ancient and malevolent. The spirits didn't want to be disturbed. They wanted their secrets to remain buried, and they would go to any lengths to protect them. They tormented her with whispers of her past, with memories she had tried to bury, with doubts that gnawed at her confidence. The line between reality and nightmare blurred. She realized that the Harrows hadn't just summoned spirits. They had opened a portal to another realm, a realm where dark entities waited to enter the world of the living. These entities could only be freed if the house was completely consumed by madness and despair. The Harrows had been mere pawns in a much larger game. She found a hidden chamber behind a bookshelf in the study. Inside was a ritual book, detailing how to seal the portal. But the ritual required a willing sacrifice, a soul to bind the energies and prevent the entities from breaking free. Emma had a choice: escape and warn others, leaving the portal vulnerable, or perform the ritual, sacrificing herself to save the world. She spent what felt like an eternity wrestling with the decision, the house whispering insidious suggestions in her ear. The spirits wanted her to give in, to embrace the darkness, to become another prisoner within these walls. Finally, she made her decision. She would perform the ritual. She wouldn't let the entities escape. As she began the incantations, the house erupted in a cacophony of sound. The walls shook, the windows shattered, and the spirits swirled around her, their voices rising to a deafening roar. They tried to dissuade her, to break her resolve, but Emma held firm, her voice ringing out with desperate determination. She completed the final invocation, feeling a surge of energy course through her. The portal shimmered, then pulsed, before finally collapsing in on itself, leaving only a faint residue of otherworldly energy. The house fell silent. The spirits retreated, their power weakened. Emma collapsed to the floor, exhausted but triumphant. Just then, Emma, you cannot escape. Emma looked up, startled. She saw her own reflection in a shattered mirror, but the reflection wasn't right. It was paler, more spectral. Emma! This house is a purgatory, Emma. You are trapped here, just like the Harrows, just like all the others who have died within these walls. She didn't understand. She had escaped. She had performed the ritual. You died years ago, Emma, in a car accident on the way to your graduation. You don't remember? This house is where your soul came when it left your body, searching for answers, searching for peace. But there is no peace here, only echoes of the past. The realization crashed down on her, shattering the illusion of control she had clung to. The terror, the hallucinations, the voices. It all made sense now. She wasn't just a historian, she was another ghost trapped in the endless cycle of Harrow House. The ritual hadn't saved the world, it had simply trapped her here forever. The house was silent now, the spirits subdued, but Emma knew it wouldn't last. The house needed despair, needed new souls to feed on. She watched, helplessly, as new figures stumbled through the front door. The curious, the gullible, the lost. Lured by the house's dark whispers, they were destined to become the next generation of prisoners, trapped in the endless loop of Harrow House. Emma, forever trapped within the walls, could only watch and wait. Another ghost in the whispering house, another voice adding to the chorus of despair. The house remains a silent testament to the enduring power of darkness and the eternal prison of the soul.